All right, so this is my review of Vaali from Legends of the Ramayan, and this is a line created by Sumya Das, and this is a pretty new line. It was initially a Kickstarter, and that was successfully funded, thankfully. I was really into this line, and I'm definitely going to buy pretty much all the villains that they have coming up. So it was funded successfully. Now, these figures are starting to go out, and I got mine from Big Bad Toy Store, and you could pre-order these figures from the pre-order site. So they do have a site which lists all their figures, and I'll put that in the link. So if you're interested in these, you could take a look, and they have their whole kind of roster of characters kind of listed there too. So including upcoming releases. So as I said, I got them on Big Bad for about $60, $65, give or take. And you could get them for less if you choose kind of like the beat up, boxes that they send them in. Get a little discount there. But his base price, I'm looking at it right now, is $62.49, and he's still in stock as of me filming this. So, quick background for anyone not familiar with the character, it's Vaali, and he's one of the, I guess you could say, kind of bad guys from that epic Ramayan. So, evil, and I say that in quotation marks because it's a little bit more complicated with these kind of stories. He's the evil monkey king Vaali, and he's the king of Kishkinda, and that's the kingdom of the Venerans, which are essentially a race of, kind of sentient, very powerful, kind of primate type, humanoids. So he's their king, and pretty big antagonist in the story, son of Indra, and he's insanely strong, like superhuman strength, very tough dude, very badass stuff. So this is a figure that I had to get. And yeah, so let's get right into the review. And let me just get him kind of standing in a neutral pose. And I had my eye on this line, and I feel like I've seen this company. I'm not sure if it's the same company, because I did see kind of images of like a Rama figure floating around probably well over a year ago. I'm not sure if this is the same company. And yeah, I was very interested. Obviously I have some bias here. I was very big on those kind of stories for a long time. And yeah, glad it got funded. So I'm definitely going all in with this line. Well, not so much all in. I'm mostly into the villains, but who knows? Might go for some of the others too. And let's just get a height measurement on him. So he's a big dude, and I'll just say right off the bat, for people who are familiar with NECA, he stands around that height. So he's pretty much NECA height, if you want to put it that way. And he's still technically 112 scale because Vaali is a big dude, and yeah, he's no joke. Like, he'll f shit up, and he's about 7.25 inches. Actually, I'd say more like 8 inches to the top of his skull. So big dude, and yeah, he's right in line with the 112 scales, I think, because characters from that story are pretty tall. In that age, they're supposedly taller, so they're around 7, 8 feet tall, from what I remember. Fun stuff. If you want to read it, great stories in there, but he's pretty much in scale. Anyway, let's get a weight measurement on him. And I have some bias, but that's not going to get in the way of me, critiquing this figure, which I do have some. And it's a new company, so bear that in mind. But he's around 8 ounces, so very heavyweight dude, and he's got real good weight on him. So it doesn't feel like kind of like a cheapo. Definitely a nice premium feel to him. So let's get a good look at him. I have the kind of yelling face on him. Actually, let me just get the camera in a little bit closer. All right. So I do have the yelling face on him, and I think that looks great. Very nice details there, I think. Yeah, just so you can see that better. And just like the attention to detail, like, this is a brand new company. His jewelry has like individual gemstones, and you can see his fur has like a nice white kind of like wash going on it. So it really gives him that look of like some aged, kind of like wise Monkey King. And that looks great, I think. And you can see the individual texturing on the fur, like the sculpting on his armbands. Very, very cool stuff. And like even his robe down here, just little touches, like adding that little gold belt there, like that little jewelry, like the individual colored lines here, little tiny bit sloppy here. Not sure if you could see that, but again, nothing major. But the color separation overall is very nice. And keep in mind, this is a brand new company. They don't have the funding of like, a lot of these other companies. And I think they did a very nice job. This is a very nice, clean figure. Even the toenails are painted. So, very interesting figure. Very nice detail. And I think he looks great. And I think he looks better in person than the pictures kind of do. Yeah, so very cool looking figure. I like him. All right, so let's talk about his articulation. And now this is where the articulation is kind of like a mixed bag. Like it's decent, but it could use work. So let's start with the head. So his head's on a ball joint. You don't get much movement out of it. You do get a little bit of tilt. So that's good. Can't really look up because of the beard and kind of like that tuft of fur there. So get okay movement. Could be better though, for sure. This is like a floating piece, kind of like his collar or fur there. This necklace is an individual piece. And let's talk about his arms. So his arms do come out, and let me actually just get rid of this kind of mace here, this Gada mace. So his arms do come up. This piece, his kind of collar or fur here, it does kind of move out of the way, but not enough that you could do a 360 with his arms, unfortunately. So I feel like this part could have probably been done a little bit differently, maybe, because you are losing significant articulation out of the arm. If you want to do like an overhead swing or anything kind of cool like that, you definitely lose out there. So that's unfortunate. You do get a bicep swivel. A little tight, but it works. Nothing terrible at all. Now, this is a big negative point. This could have been done a lot better. So you do get a joint that could probably get you more than 90 degrees, but just because of the way it's sculpted and kind of how large his muscles are, you only get this, like, not even 90, like a little bit less than a 90-degree bend. So it's fine, but it needs to become, it needs to be better. His wrists are just on a typical kind of like hinge. You can swivel on that too. And the weapon holding hands, they do get vertical hinges, so that's very nice. So good attention to detail there. And his upper torso here is on a ball joint, so you do get decent forward. No, not really. So that's pretty bad. So pretty bad. And I don't know why a lot of figures they struggle with that forward bend. This one too. So that's a little unfortunate. And I think this does need to be kind of fine-tuned a bit. That gappage is not pretty to look at. And if you do kind of make him bend backwards, then you really see it. So it's a nice joint in there. It's just not being kind of implemented properly. Like that needs to be better hidden. But you do get like kind of like the side to side, you do get some movement there. Very unfortunate, the decision with his kind of lower torso. It's just kind of like sitting on a cylinder. So you only get a side to side movement. That should be a ball joint because you get no movement here at all. That's unfortunate. I will say this figure is very kind of like modular. Like you could take him apart very easily. So that's good. No fear of breaking when I was fooling around with this guy. So I say keep that kind of like fluid, like kind of like modularity, but just, make that a ball joint. And okay, I'm just going to take this off just so you could see it a little bit better. this does come off, so that's nice. Comes off very easily too. And let's take a look at his legs. So nice ball joints there. You do get a thigh swivel. And I didn't really break in his thigh swivels, but you do get them. Not terrible. And, you know, just heat your figures up like usual. You do get a nice double bend on the knee. Doesn't look terrible. Could be better, though. And it's smooth at least, so that's good. And, let's see. Yeah, so you do get pretty good movement out of the legs. Ankles on a hinge. I do wish they used kind of more like that Figma style joint, where instead of a hinge, you just get like a kind of like a peg with a swivel on it. I think those are generally better, where you just get a peg going up to the calf, one up in the foot, and a nice swivel. Done. This is just kind of like a hinge going into a peg, and you do get the ankle rocker, a very nice one. So it's decent. And there's a little ratchet on the foot. It's a little bit annoying. Nowhere near as aggressive as the McFarlane ones. I get why they did it, because, you know, Vaali's a pretty big guy. But I feel like it's not 100% needed. I don't think he's in like the weight class where you need it. But still not a huge deal. So let's put him back together. So overall, his articulation is decent. I feel like his arms in particular need to be a lot better, because this guy's like a mace fighter. So that's a pretty big negative for me. Like I feel like his arms need to be able to really kind of do like the overhead swings and stuff like that, especially with a Gata mace like this. So I think that needs to be adjusted. But overall decent. So in terms of accessories, I just have them all laid out here. So you get a bunch of different hands. You get like kind of various open hands. You get weapon holding hands. And yeah, so you get those. And they do hold the mace pretty well. I did have a chance to fool around with them. And you do get an alternate face. It comes with 2 faces in total. So you get those 2. So, and obviously you get the mace. And I actually just want to focus on the mace a little, because it looks so damn nice. Like, that is 100% like a Hindu Gata mace. And a lot of characters in Hindu epics, especially the big tough guys, they always use this thing, and it's very cool. So, very nice looking. Like, the detail on this thing is insane. And he holds it pretty well. Now, I will say this. His wrist, I had to use that kind of paper method, because this wrist is very loose, and that was a little annoying. I'm not sure if it was just mine, but needs to be better than that. So his hands are fine otherwise, but the weapon holding hand on mine was very, very loose, and I had to put like a piece of paper in there to make it stick, so that he could actually hold the mace. So that's no good, needs to be adjusted. You know, no one's going to be happy if they come across that. Okay, again, very solid figure. I'm just pointing these out so the company can improve if they're even looking at this video, just so it's out there, and just so people can make an informed decision if they want this thing or not. Okay. Yeah, and just in terms of accessories, yeah, these little jewelry pieces, his armbands, not these, they don't come off. His kind of ankle and wrist bracelets, they do come off. So I personally would have just preferred that they were like fully closed. So I don't like the fact that they're open like this. I think they're a little bit too open. I would have preferred just, you know, maybe take the hand off and take the jewelry off with it. Just paranoid these might get lost if, you know, you're not paying attention. Okay. Oh, and one last thing. They do give a nice little kind of background into the character, little kind of like graphic novel. So I thought that was a nice little touch. And very nice artwork in there if you want to have a quick read about him. You do get that too. So that's pretty cool, I think. So very nice release, $60, definitely worth it. I'd buy these. I'm definitely buying more of these figures. And yeah, he looks great. So, and just for fun, because I recently got this guy at Target, and he's a pretty good size comparison. I do have the NECA Dracula Shredder, which I have a review up for also. And you can see he is significantly taller. So there you go. That's my review. And if you have any questions, definitely feel free to ask. And yeah, thanks for watching. Take care.